It's a mood disorder. It's a serious medical condition. It's what we call depression. It negatively affects the way we think, feel, and act. Motivation can plummet. Pleasure can be reduced. Senses of well-being can be crushed. An aversion to activity can develop. You might want those sweet happy chemicals, but your brain might just say no. Regardless of how good you've got it in life, it's much more than simply being sad. Symptoms vary in severity and can include things like lowered general mood, no longer enjoying things, negative appetite changes, negative sleep changes, less energy, more fatigue, difficulty thinking, difficulty concentrating, difficulty making decisions, feelings of hopelessness, feelings of worthlessness, and at its worst, feelings of death and suicide. Everyone in the world is at risk of experiencing depression, some more than others. It's a common illness and seems to be becoming increasingly common. It comes in various types, and its cause can be a variety of different things. Difficult childhoods filled with abuse can lead to depression as we get older. You may be more vulnerable if you have low self-esteem and personality traits that are self-deprecating. Depression can commonly run in family histories, and if it's common in yours, you may be more vulnerable to it. You may also be at a higher risk of it if you're lonely. Another thing that may make you more susceptible to it is having a long time or life-threatening illness. Sometimes giving birth can lead to postnatal depression. An abundance of alcohol and certain drugs can affect brain chemistry and lead to downward spirals. Traumatic and stressful life events can also majorly affect you and leave you depressed. Depression is horrible, but there are many treatments for it and things that help along the way. I think it's important that we learn about these things and how we can better our lives and the lives of others. Welcome to Games for Healing, a web series that I hope brings you comfort, where we take a look at and recommend video games that deal with themes of mental health, life struggles, and life lessons. Cozy and relaxing games are on the table as well. Video games are not only art and entertainment, they can be used for educational purposes too. Depression Quest is a game that aims to be used for such educational purposes. Released in 2013, the game is free to play on a browser and can also be downloaded for free on Steam. It was developed and published by The Quinspiracy. This is a game that many people would barely consider to be a game. I'd say it barely qualifies, but I'm still going to call it one because I believe that the experiences in this medium come in many shapes and sizes. It's purely text-based, where the only interactive element is clicking to make choices. With that being said, I don't have much of a variety of gameplay footage to show you, so keep that in mind. Depression Quest is a fictional story that puts us in the role of a person of ambiguous gender that has depression. This person is said to be in their 20s. They have a job that they don't like, and they have a supportive girlfriend named Alex. You'll be presented with heaps of text describing situations and scenarios. You'll be given options on what to do next. It's in your best interest to choose the options that are the healthiest. The game immediately starts off with some disclaimers from the creators. They establish what the experience was created for, and also warn that some people may find it triggering. It's recommended to us that we play with the sound on. Depression Quest constantly has sorrowful piano music playing throughout the game. The music gets progressively glitchier during darker moments. The very few visuals may also change, getting filled with static. Said visuals are photos, which change based on the context of the scenario. The images get reused a bunch of times. I think it wouldn't have hurt for them to have given more pictures to look at, instead of reusing them. The game claims to have 40,000 words altogether, 150 different scenarios, and multiple endings. The path you take and the ending you get are determined by the choices you make. I'd say that which choices are the healthy and correct ones are fairly obvious. Depression Quest does try to illustrate how having depression can lead to irrational thinking by crossing out the most optimistic and healthy options. This is a clever idea, but it doesn't change much functionally. There's usually an option that sounds less optimistic but is essentially the same thing. Below each page of text are reminders of your mental state, whether or not you're on medication plus how well it's going, and whether or not you're seeking help plus how well that's going. I wouldn't call Depression Quest fun. It clearly wasn't designed to be fun. I do find it very interesting though. If you enjoy reading, then you'll have a fine time getting through it. The game is about an hour long. The length, combined with the fact that it's free, makes it very accessible and quickly digestible. It doesn't ask for much commitment. You'll learn about the main character's life. Their thoughts and feelings will be regularly presented to you. It's almost as if you're reading someone's diary. The game gives plenty of advice through showing how the main character feels through what they do. The advice it gives for dealing with depression boils down to these things. Try medication. Try therapy. Get a pet. Confide in your friends. Confide in your family. Foster your relationships. Do your best to improve your life if you're unsatisfied with it. These are all valid ways of combating depression. The best ending of the game shows the main character healing with medication and therapy. They get a kitten, which improves their quality of life. Their girlfriend moves in with them. They seek advice from their big brother and their friends. The ending is left somewhat ambiguous. The main character's life is going well and they're on a clear path to recovery, but it's said that there are still bad days and that a relapse is always possible. At the end, we're given a message about the game and how its ending was meant to not be conclusive and satisfying, comparing it to depression itself. The creators also thank us for playing a game for a reason other than just for fun. I found that a bit patronizing, since playing video games just for fun is totally valid. I'll just assume the best of what they meant. Here's a side note, the game is entirely text-based, but there are some typos. I'm surprised that the typos haven't been fixed since the game came out in 2013. I wouldn't call Depression Quest a great game, but it is a step in the right direction for games as educational experiences. I think we can at least appreciate it and the well-intentions of the creators. They've made something simple that can enlighten people on some of the ways that depression can affect a person, and ways that it can be treated. Quality-wise, Depression Quest is definitely on the lower end of mental health-related games. I do think a greater effort could have been made with it. Polish goes a long way. Perhaps they could have added more visuals and interactive elements. I could easily picture this being a visual novel type game if it had more time and money put into it. If you're looking for engaging gameplay, a riveting story, masterful visual and audio design, and other things that make a great game, you unfortunately won't find them here. Like I said before, I can at the very least appreciate the well-intentions of the creators. The game doesn't cost a cent to play, but there is a pay-what-you-want pricing model. Part of the proceeds go to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. If you have any interest at all in Depression Quest, it's free and only takes an hour to play. It's far from feeling like a quest, but it's got the depression part right. I'd compare it to one of those choose-your-own-adventure books, or choose-your-own-adventure games. But even simpler and shorter than those. I'd also compare it to reading a case study and doing multiple choice questions based on it. It's pretty bare bones, but it does have the potential to be impactful and to inform people on mental illness. Don't look at it as an instruction manual that's going to cure your individual depression. Don't treat it as how depression affects everybody. The best way to look at it is to treat it as a window into one individual's experience with depression. The two people who wrote the game injected their own insights from having depression into it. Use it as a learning tool. Learn from the good decisions that the main character can make. There is no immediate cure for depression, and everyone experiences it differently. The things that might help one person drastically might barely help another person. We're all different, but it's worth doing everything that you can to make living with depression easier. Try everything you can and see what works. Be patient with it. Be patient with yourself. Healing takes time, and you deserve to get better. Before you can get better, you need to find the courage to make the necessary steps. It's all on you. Not all methods of healing are accessible. Not everyone can afford therapy or medication. Not everyone's living situation and quality of life are the same. There are so many people in this world living different lives and experiencing depression in different ways. No matter how many differences there are between all of these people, they have these things in common. There's always hope. There's always things that you can do to better your life. There's always a powerful human will that can refuse to give up. If you suffer from depression, I wish you more joy in your present, more happiness in your future, and a past that you can heal from. I know that things are hard and that they might feel pointless, and that all of the advice you've been receiving from everyone has been getting repetitive and you might be sick of hearing it, but listen to me. Things get better, and you're tough like you could never imagine. Keep going. Keep living. You're gonna be okay. Until next time, I'll see you later. Stay strong out there.